What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 5, Episode 3. So, this show so far has made me feel like I feel sad when I watch this show. I used to be really excited. It was one of my favorite reality TV shows, and it has gotten really dark for me because I just look, the bottom line is the vindictiveness of how people are to one another. It is just really, I don't know, I guess it's starting to take its toll on me because last season there was so much focus on Letitia and Kimmy's marriages. And it seems like this season Letitia and Kimmy have united and they want to deflect the attention away from their marital problems. And now they want to shine a light back on Melody and Martell. But I don't know if y'all got the memo, Kimmy and Letitia, but Melody and Martell are officially divorced. So you talking about or bringing up old news of stuff that happened before they even got married, y'all look crazy and ridiculous. And I'm referring to when Kimmy, Letitia, and Destiny got together. And Kimmy brings up this information that Melody had relayed to her only because Kimmy had brought it up to Melody. Do you understand what I'm saying? So last season, Kimmy and Melody had met up. And Kimmy asked or brought up the topic of Melnika. And she must have already heard whatever rumors there were about Martell and Melnika, about what could have happened or what went down when Melody and Martell were planning their wedding, because I can't imagine any other reason for Kimmy to bring that up to Melody. So Kimmy brings up this whole situation with Martell and Melnika working together. And Melody, one of her faults to me is that she always takes the bait. When people bait her, she takes the bait. So she starts talking about how when her and Martell were planning their wedding, someone had told Melody, I don't know what Melnika was. I don't know if she was the actual wedding planner or she was the wedding planner's assistant. I don't know. But let's say she was the wedding planner. I have no idea. But somebody told Melody that Melnika and Martell were messing around. So that's old news. And the only reason why Melody even was telling Kimmy was because Kimmy had brought up the whole Melnika thing. Like, oh, Martell is calling Melnika Mel because Martell has always called Melody Mel. But now he's calling Melnika Mel. And he said that that was the first Mel in his life. And so Melody was like, well, let me tell you the back history of, why he feels so comfortable calling her Mel or whatever the situation was. That was last season. Whatever the hell they were talking about happened 15 plus years prior. But then here we are this season, and Kimmy is bringing up this tired conversation to Letitia and Destiny. Why? First of all, like I said, Kimmy has never, to me, I've never seen her as someone who likes to gossip. She's always been the one that's a little bit more level-headed, a little bit more intelligent than her little counterparts, Destiny and Letitia. So to see her bringing up old news just for the sake of gossiping, it just showed me how desperate Kimmy is to deflect any attention away from her and her tired marriage with Maurice and to put some attention back on Melody and Martell. So Letitia and Destiny eat it up like it's something piping hot. And Destiny herself even said, well, it must not have bothered them too much because they went ahead and still got married. So it must not have been that big of a problem or whatever. If it wasn't that big, if you're going to conclude, Destiny, that whatever the situation was between Martell and Melnika back then, that it really wasn't that big of a problem because Melody and Martell still got married, then why are you bringing this up to Martell now? Why are you bringing this up to Martell? So Martell has a meeting with some winery or some wine store, and Destiny was supposed to be there for moral support. When she finally shows up, because she was late, when she finally shows up, business is concluded now. They're having a conversation, and Destiny brings up to Martell, yeah, I was just talking to Kimmy the other day, and Kimmy was telling us that Melody told her that you used to mess around with Melnika before y'all got married. Why would you bring that up to Martell? So I have an issue also with Destiny, and Destiny has done this before. Whenever her and Martell get together, because she likes to portray that Martell is her homeboy, that she knew Martell way before she knew Melody. And she wants to present like I'm more loyal to Martell, so I have the right to talk about Melody. I have no loyalty to Melody because Martell was I knew Martell before I knew Melody. He was my friend before I was friends with Melody. So she wants us to not judge her or criticize her for gossiping about her former girlfriend Melody. So she brings up this tired, dusty news to Martell. Martell is like, well, that was like 15 years ago, and no, I was not messing around with Melnika. And he goes, and I'm not messing around with her now, even though she's my business manager or whatever the hell she is to Martell right now. There's nothing going on between this. Melnika is happily married to her husband. So, yeah. See, Martell didn't fall for the bait. So what are you going to do now? So Kimmy, Letitia, and Destiny, y'all bring this up to Martell for what? So what? I mean, what was the point? So that y'all can go tell Melody, girl, your husband was messing around with the wedding planner, so you need to go ahead and divorce him? Newsflash, they're divorced. Melody has moved on. Martell has definitely moved on. So why are we talking about this? Why did Kimmy feel the need to bring this up, and why did Destiny feel the need to relay this to Martell? So Martell now is like, well, I thought me and Melody, we were on the same page, but it seems like, she wants to bring up old news to make me look bad. So he's completely misconstruing everything. I said he didn't fall for the bait, but I guess he did, because now he's feeling some kind of way, thinking that Melody is just out there bringing up old news just to throw dirt on his name. And it wasn't even that. It was the fact that Kimmy thought it was interesting enough last season to figure out why Martell felt comfortable calling Melnika Mel and saying that Mel was the first Mel in his life, that Melnika was the first Mel in his life. These people are divorced. Whatever happened during their marriage, it doesn't matter. And whatever happened before their marriage matters even less. So what are we doing? Is it because y'all didn't like all that heat on y'all's tired, flimsy marriages? And this is the reason why y'all want to talk about Martell and Melody are divorced. There's no need to talk about anything that happened during their marriage or before their marriage. Moving on. Destiny has found a new man, and evidently she doesn't want to really tell the group yet for whatever reason. But we met her new man. His name is Moses. Whatever. She's excited about him. Hopefully you don't mess this one up, Destiny. Melody and Martell meet. Melody goes over to Martell's house. The kids it's his weekend or his visitation. And Melody stops by. And she really wanted to talk to Martell. And so they sit down in the living room. And this is the first time that Melody has been to Martell's house. So they're sitting down in the living room. And Melody tells Martell that Miss Wanda is back to her old tricks again. She got on social media and she said something about Martell may not be the father of one of their children. She says sugar mama, so I don't know which child that is that they refer to as sugar mama. I thought it was the youngest child because that child was conceived when they were having a whole lot of issues. So I thought she was referring to the youngest one, but then they showed the middle daughter. So I don't know which one is sugar mama, but it really doesn't matter. So obviously, Melody is letting Martell know so that Martell can be, aware of what's going on, what's being said about his child. And Martell ain't worried about it because that Melody's going to handle it. And Melody knows that Martell's going to handle it as well because he handled it before with Miss Wanda. So, and the reason why Miss Wanda wanted to go on the internet and talk about their children is because Melody was a guest on Carlos King's show, um, The Nightcap. And when she was on the nightcap, when Melody was on the nightcap, she had mentioned, because they were talking about Miss Wanda and how messy and nosy she is and how she ain't got no business of her own. Melody had mentioned that Miss Wanda's baby daddy, who was Letitia's father, slid into her DMs. And Miss Wanda obviously didn't like that, so she got online and talked about how one of those kids are not Martell's. Miss Wanda, you're despicable. You're absolutely despicable. She's always been despicable. She's always been despicable. She's always been like extremely hard for me to take. So Melody and Martell are like, you know what, she ain't got no business talking about our children, keep the kids out of it, whatever. And I understand that Miss Wanda wasn't necessarily probably attacking the child. She was attacking Melody and putting out there the assumption that Melody was, fooling around with somebody. Miss Wanda, have you seen these children? Except for maybe the boy who I think favors Melody, these children are the spitting image of Martell. Those Holt genes are strong in those kids. Yes, they look like their mom, but they really favor their dad. So for Miss Wanda to say that, it was so unnecessary. And she was trying to find a way to really hurt Melody. So she wanted to basically throw a whole lot of dirt on Melody's reputation as a woman and try to imply that she was sleeping around or whatever the hell. But you know that, Miss Wanda, when the children come across this information, which they will, now the child is going to be questioning, so my daddy's really not my daddy. Those are the kind of questions and doubts that you want to put in a child's head, Miss Wanda. Disgusting. And I truly believe that all the Scotts are behind all of this. I'm really disappointed in Kimmy. I'm extremely disappointed in Kimmy because out of all the people on that show, Kimmy was the last one that I would ever expect to play dirty like this. Because her husband got it last season. Her marriage went through it last season, whether she knows it or not. Her marriage and her husband was the topic of many conversations. And she didn't like how that felt. So she probably believes that, the Holts are behind it. So she's going to go out. Now she's part of this whole campaign of bringing Melody and Martell down. I never would have thought that Kimmy would stoop so low. Kimmy, instead of being mad at Melody and Martell, why don't you address your husband? Let's talk about Kimmy and Maurice. Back at the retreat, when Kimmy and Maurice were having a one-on-one session with Dr. Francis. And Maurice brings up the whole thing about him not getting enough. So juvenile. And Dr. Francis says she has the right. That's her body. She has the right to do whatever she wants with her body. And Kimmy wants to defend her philandering husband and say, oh, he knows that. He knows that it's my right. Does he? Because he sure as hell don't act like it. From what I have seen with my own eyeballs on my own television screen between the two of you, Maurice does not understand that that is your body and that you have the right to say no, and he needs to be okay with that. Because when you say no to him, he gets upset. He throws a tantrum. He thinks that you should be ready on command. He doesn't understand that it's your body. He thinks that your body is his property to do whatever the hell he wants to do with it. And when you deny him, he throws a hissy fit. Like a 3-year-old little boy whose favorite toy has been taken away from them. Let's talk about Tisha and Marceau and his wide, blubbery back. So they keep talking about Tisha when she was with Destiny and Kimmy. She was bragging how her and Marceau had done so well in the rope challenge. And Marceau, when he was hanging out with the guys at the pool hall, was bragging to the guys about him and Tisha did so well on the rope challenge. So y'all are going to take that rope challenge activity and ride it to infinity. Because that for y'all, that's like, y'all think that that's very symbolic of y'all's marriage. That y'all get along so well, that y'all are so perfectly in sync with one another, that y'all can accomplish anything. Y'all work so well together. Y'all were meant to be. Because y'all know how to win a three-legged race. That just shows desperation. Y'all are so desperate to prove to people that there are no cracks in our marriage. We're perfect. That y'all are going to take a three-legged race and shove it in everybody's face to prove that, oh, it's real love over here. We really love each other. We're really happy with one another. We get along. We're so well matched with one another. This is such a perfect union that we can do a three-legged race together while everybody else was struggling. Every single one of y'all's marriages have cracks in them so deep and so wide. An earthquake ain't got nothing on the cracks in your marriages. All of y'all. The only difference is with Melody and Martell, they realized it and they did something about it. So disappointed in these people. And I actually feel sorry for Martell, not him alone, but for him and his ex-wife Melody. I feel sorry for them because here we go again, because seasons 1 and 2 and 3 were all about Melody and Martell, Melody and Martell. Season 4, we got to peek into Maurice. We got to peek into the Scotts, both Scotts. And they didn't like the heat, so they want to put it back on Melody and Martell, who are now officially legally divorced. That's how I see it. Destiny is having a relaunching of her shop, Madani. For what? Look, I don't want to be very negative on a black woman doing her thing in business. I really don't want to do that, but I gotta call a thing a thing. What the hell was she selling in Madani? Because every time that we were in Madani, it was practically bare. But once again, we're gonna have a relaunching or launching or whatever the hell you want to call it. She's reopening Madani. She says, her divorce and COVID had forced her to shut it down. But here we go again. I'll be happy once she turns it into or adds the salon part to it. I think that's when she's probably going to see real money coming in, when she adds the salon part, because beauty shops, wig shops are a dime a dozen, right? So once she adds the salon, maybe then she'll start making real money. When Destiny was talking about, when she was giving us the history of her and Moses, she says that they had known each other for 13 years. And at first she said, and then we reconnected. And then she corrected herself and said, well, he reconnected with me. Why did you feel the need to correct yourself? What difference does it make if he reconnected with you or if you reconnected with him? But I noticed that. I noticed things like that. It was as if she's trying to make it look like, hey, I'm not so desperate that I'm looking for a man. The man come and find me. That's how I took it. I could be wrong. I'm not looking forward to this huge fight at all. Because I feel bad for the Holts. I really do. I feel bad that this entire group is going to gang up against. So far, it looks like they're ganging up against them. I'm disgusted by Destiny gossiping about Melody to Martell as if these people don't have kids. And I understand. Okay, they can talk about one another. That's fine. But they can talk about one another when it kind of makes sense. They can rag on each other, drag each other, shade each other when it makes sense. Melody has left Destiny alone. She ain't fooling with Destiny. She's not bothering Destiny. Destiny got to put on your big girl pants and just, take it under the chin and move on. Not all friendships are meant to last a lifetime. It was what it was, then it ended. Maybe it was her fault, maybe it was your fault, maybe it was both of your faults. Maybe it was no one's fault. It was just the end of a friendship. Just move on. But you're carrying so much bitterness in your heart for Melody that you see absolutely nothing wrong with going to her ex-husband, who we all know he was your friend first, and gossiping so unnecessarily. It would have made sense, if Melody had said something about Martell right now, something that he did in the present time that may not have been true. And you want to look out for your homeboy. So you're going to go and tell him, hey, Melody's been saying this, and that about you. Just want to give you a heads up. But no, you're going to bring up something that she herself didn't even bring up on her own. She was answering a question that somebody else brought to her. And on top of all of that, it's old news, because you cannot stand the fact that Melody does not want to be your friend, that you feel so comfortable going to her ex-husband and gossiping about her. And that made no sense to me. And you want to twist it to where it seems like Melody just brought this stuff up out of nowhere. I don't think you really emphasized to Martell, well, the reason why she brought this up was because Kimmy was asking her, what was the deal with you calling Melnika the first Mel of your life, or whatever the hell. And when I look at Tisha, I feel ill. I feel really ill, because I just cannot take a woman who puts all of her worth and value in a man. Tisha would just crumble up and disintegrate if Marceau left her. She would not know what the hell to do with herself. Because she was raised in that type of environment, and I can believe it because we've seen her mom. She was raised in that type of an environment where it was all about getting a man, keeping a man, and if you didn't have a man, there was something wrong with you and people talked about you. Because the way she rides so hard for Marceau, who doesn't ride for her not even 1/8 of the amount that she rides for him, not even 1/10 of the amount. Let's not forget, this man took a whole entire international trip to Africa alone, after his wife had just got done complaining about how you never go on vacation with your family. It's always just me and the children alone going on vacation. And he took a whole trip to Africa by himself. But she's going to brag to everybody, oh, we did so good with our 3-legged race. We did so good with the rope challenge. I'm done. I'm so done. I've been here long enough. I'm just disappointed, not in the production of the show. The show is good. The storylines are good. The show is very interesting. But just to see how dirty these people are to one another, I'm just the part that I'm kind of having a hard time digesting. They can't talk about nothing else. Kimmy and Destiny and Tisha get together, and somehow or another they got to bring up Martell and Melody. Why? They're divorced. Why are you talking about them? What could you possibly have to say about them? Because nothing recently has happened, they got to bring up old news. And Kimmy, I'm the most disappointed in you because I never would have expected that type of behavior from you. Anyways, that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, please subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.